And what's sexier than fashion? Nothing. I found out that it's my true passion in life. I really have. I'm going to tell all about it. Please welcome back, now an official Speakeasy regular, the editor-in-chief of Fashion Magazine, the fabulous Bernadette Morra joins us. How are you, Bernadette?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Carla?
You're always fantastic. Bernadette, I was dying to talk to you because I have this new hobby where I've become a personal stylist for some family and friends, and I love it. And I have to tell you, I am killing it, girl. I'm killing it. All shapes and sizes, principals, doctors, people in the industry. I've only done 3, but still, they've all been Grand Slam home runs. And I love it. And I'm like, what? I don't know what I'm doing on the radio. I
Well,
clearly
it's
need to
fun.
be.
Fashion is a lot of fun, isn't it?
Well, I think of myself as a heavier and less bitchy Rachel Zoe.
Heavier? Well,
So
yeah, I guess everybody's heavier than Rachel, so I guess you're
Most
right.
jockeys are.
But I'll tell you, I am having the most exciting month ever because we have Miley Cyrus on our cover, the cover of the November issue of Fashion Magazine, and we shot her in L.A. 10 days after the twerk gate, or whatever you want to call it, Tushgate.
Right.
And
Twerkgate, yes, yes.
And this cover has absolutely exploded, and Miley loves it. She has one of the images she's been tweeting all the images from the shoot, and one of them is of her in a bodysuit by Greta Constantine, which are these local Toronto designers, and it has 800,000 likes. And
Wow.
so it's just, I know, it's just, we're having the most exciting month we've ever had here.
Well, that's so interesting because one of my questions to you, I was going to first talk about Paris, but since you've brought it up, I wanted to ask you what you thought of Miley Cyrus's fashion. My listeners can tell you, Bernadette, that I'm a fan. I think Miley's been a genius. I think it's all worked according to her plan. And I pay attention to what she's wearing, what she's saying, what she's doing. I just recently saw her on Ellen, and basically this all led up to giant album sales. I thought she was terrific on SNL. So what do you think of her fashion? Is she at the cutting edge, or is she just using it as a tool?
No,
what are your thoughts?
Well, all of the above. She is at the cutting edge. She's completely in control of her image. She's been absolutely brilliant at it. And on set when we shot her, she was quite selective about what she wore, but she also was very just in keeping with our brand, which is tasteful. But at the same time, she chose things that were really exciting and revealing and in keeping with her brand. So it's been really interesting. Sometimes you shoot a celebrity and they are very rigid in terms of what they will wear and what they won't wear, and they won't sort of work with you. But Miley is, she's very mature. She understands our goals, and she has her own goals and worked very well together with us to come up with some outfits that she feels good in because they're sexy, but that work for our brand, which is sort of high fashion and tasteful. So if you go to the fashionmagazine.com website, you'll see the results. And I have to say,
fabulous.
I really admire this young woman. She's only 20 years old, and boy, does she have her act together.
I think so too. That's what I said to everyone by just watching her comedic chops on SNL. I said any rumors of a meltdown or drugs, I think, are completely false because there's no way anyone looks that fresh. And I think that she's like Madonna, version 6.0, but then times 100. She's just doing her own thing, and I think that. I think it's effective, and she's having fun. And of course, when I'm on the wrecking ball, I'm in high heels. But that's just because I'm old school.
I thought that video was absolutely gorgeous. And one other thing about the rumors of things going on, behind the scenes. I think that if there is any trouble, she will not be able to sustain this level of sort of keeping it together and professionalism, and because we know people who can do that for a short time, and then it's not sustainable over the long term.
No, at some point you're just relieving yourself in a bucket.
Yeah.
near a janitor. So it's at some point you're busted. So that's fascinating. I'm so glad that she's on your cover. There, that looks it's stunning. And like I said, that's the fashion icon I wanted to talk about. Now, I mean, I know that Lady Gaga had an entire dress made out of Kermit the Frogs, and she's going to appear in a Muppet special. But to me, right now, my eye is on Miley, and of course, Paris. When is it not? And you've just come back from Paris Fashion Week, so they lead the way in fashion. And you know what a trend whore I am. I need to be on trends like, tattoos on NBA players. And of course I have to pick out something for when you and I do my cover shoot. And I think you're gonna find I'm not rigid at all. Like I will cover myself in Tweety Bird tattoos. I don't care. Whatever it is for fashion, but tell us what the latest trends are. I mean,
well,
are we
there's a few key things. One is there's a huge amount of sparkle and shine, and that is all part of this very ladylike, feminine sort of mood. But the shapes are not necessarily frilly and frothy. So
good?
There's tons of experimentation in terms of fabrics. Lanvin had dresses that looked like metallic foil, and so they have a huge impact. But when you touch them, they're lighter than air. Like, honestly, Kleenex is heavier than these dresses.
Wow,
like,
but don't put them in the microwave because
no,
obviously
exactly.
that's going to be a disaster.
You will, yes, have a problem. So that's one trend. Another trend is artistry. A lot of designers are looking to the world of fine art for inspiration. So Celine designer Phoebe Philo, who is the person who's responsible for the minimalist trend, which is very popular right now, went completely in a different direction and did these huge brush strokes of primary colors, blues and reds and yellows on her clothes. And
gorgeous.
She was one of many designers who injected art, fine art, into their work. And then the third big trend is athleticism, and I'm calling it elevated athlete because it is sort of mesh fabrics, but they may be done in a laser-cut suede or a fine silk, perforated leathers that are really butter-soft lambskins that have sort of these athletic perforations in them. So, and footwear, there's this big trend to ugly shoes now.
Yes, well, I was going to say Miley started that a bit at the VMAs, and I noticed that these big honking shoes. By the way, Bernadette, I just want to remind our listeners that you're listening to Bernadette Morra, who is editor-in-chief of Fashion Magazine. Look for Miley Cyrus on the cover. She's speaking to us on Speakeasy here on Canada Talks about the latest trends in Paris. Yes, footwear. You know how I love my hooker heels, even though I'm already 6'5".
It's over. I'm sorry, hun.
What?
They are over, and you're absolutely right. Miley nailed it on SNL in those lace-up creepers. Those shoes are all over Paris. They're all over the stores already. So it's sort of a mannish, boyish shoe. Also the man sandal. So ugly.
The mandel?
The mandel. So the ugly, thick, strapped, flat sandals that some guys like to wear with socks. Well, put them with your dresses because I know, it's quite something.
Those are like ugly Jesus shoes. But what I don't understand is, I bought a pair of what I'm calling from Kitson, Bernadette I'm calling them drag queen docks because they're a pair of docks and they have flowers on them. And I wore them in Montreal to one of my shows, but I found I couldn't do my stage prowl as well without being in heels. But I guess I'm going to have to get used to them.
You're going to have to revise that part of the act. Rewrite.
Rework my I just found I wasn't prowling as well as I could when I'm in the heels.
You're not. And this is all about women being on the move. It's not so much about perching and looking pretty on a bar stool. And let's face it, like, we're busy and we need shoes for being on the go.
Ugly
and
Jesus
it's
shoes.
also
Okay.
a backlash against those killer high heels that we've been seeing for the last couple of years.
Now, is there anything else? I see that we're showing a lot of leg. Are the skirts back?
Yes, lots of leg. And
Yay.
that can either be a long skirt that's slit right up to the hip, or it can be a veil, sort of a veil of fabric of organza or chiffon over top a pair of shorts, or just a pair of shorts. And shorts are either right up to your hip bone, or they're longer and wider and better known as a skirt or culotte, and they're coming in all price points, all fabrics, for day and for evening. And the skirt is the new pant, basically.
Now, I bought a dress the other day that I'm affectionately calling my mullet dress because it's beautiful. It's Missoni-esque. It's not quite Missoni. It's Missoni adjacent in its pattern. And Bernadette, it's short in the front and then it's longer in behind.
Yes, I just bought a skirt like that in Paris.
And I think they're gorgeous.
Yes. Asymmetry, either, from front to back or side to side, is also a huge trend. And it's also a way of showing the legs, but in fact, it was Karl Lagerfeld who said that he thinks that that's a much more flattering skirt shape than just a longer midi skirt. He likes that sort of cutaway.
And he really borrowed from the fine art as well. He's made a lot of his dresses palettes for Chanel.
Well, that was an incredible show because we walked into the Grand Palais, which is this huge sort of 19th century glass ceilinged or domed, with a domed glass ceiling, and walked in, and he had set it up like an art gallery, and he had sketched all 75 pieces of art and had them made, and a lot of them were sort of making fun or satirizing some works of contemporary artworks. But he injected Chanel references into all of them. So there was like a giant Chanel No. 5 perfume bottle with robot arms and legs. And there were huge, oversized Chanel quilted handbags attached to the wall. And there was a big CC logo that had pearls kind of falling off of it onto the floor. So people, normally at a Chanel show, you have all of these women who go dressed head to toe Chanel if they can. And then people like me who wear the one item that I have. But anyway, over and over and over again.
And make it work,
Yeah.
You're practical working gal.
And so you have it's such the guests alone are a big part of the experience of going to a Chanel show. This was the first time that the environment overshadowed the guests. And I mean, this is a guy who brought an
that's
iceberg.
not easily done. Yeah.
Yeah, he brought an iceberg in 1 year for the Chanel show. So it was so brilliant and so much fun, and people were running around taking selfies of themselves with all the art, and it was interactive. It was brilliant on so many levels, and it was super fun. And then the clothes came out, and day two there were brushstroke prints and models carrying sort of artist portfolios, and it was really fun.
Oh, and perfect. You're so glamorous. You're so damn glamorous. Now, for us mere mortals who didn't get to attend, did you tell him, I've shattered this glass ceiling, so impress me more. If we could get one item leading into the holiday season, would you advise sparkly skirts, perhaps? Try to combine them?
I would look for any kind of metallic fabric. You're going to start seeing it really soon. The other thing is sparkly flats. We wrote about this. We have a story coming up in our winter issue about this. This is also a huge trend. You're going to be seeing this in the stores right now. Are shoes that have some kind of sparkle or shine. So it could be a metallic toe, like a gold metal toe cap. It could be gold studs. It could be silver sparkles or sequins. And we're even seeing slippers coming in sequins. So there's a lot of really fancy flats out there that would be perfect for the holiday season.
Fantastic. That's good news. If that was socially acceptable, I'd always be in my monkey pajamas.
Yes.
But with great shoes.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Bernadette, for joining us today. It's always great to have you here on the show. And please look for the latest edition of Fashion Magazine, which features Miley Cyrus, who was a delight. just rocking and she's in the bodysuit on your cover.
She's not in the body. Right? She's in the bodysuit inside. On the cover, she's wearing a dress that's got holes from top to toe. You got to see it.
Shocking. Holes from top to toe. I love it. I love her fashion sense. Watch for Fashion Magazine. Go to fashionmagazine.com. Follow Bernadette on Twitter. Bernadette Morra, the fashion editor-in-chief of Fashion Magazine. Well, she's the editor-in-chief of the whole damn thing. Thanks so much for coming on and speaking to
Carla.
us today. All about Paris. I love it.
Take care.
Love it.
Take care.
Love it.